All right, well, in the old days of gasoline and burning combustion engines, all you needed was your jalopy and an old credit card, but we don't live in times like that anymore. We live in the age of EVs and charging and all that, and honestly, my recommendation is that if you don't have a smartphone, well, you need a smartphone, and if you do have a smartphone and you drive an electric car, you need these apps installed so that you can basically go by anywhere without worry. All right, so I'm sitting here in my colleague Ryan's Tesla Model 3. It's so great that we now have affordable electric vehicles everyone can buy that can actually be used for road trips and long haul travel. We've had the Chevy Bolt, we've had the Nissan Leaf, we've even had Hyundai Kona. But I think until very recently with the Tesla price drops, we really haven't had a mass market EV like this, and hopefully more to come to compete with it, that give people that kind of long distance flexibility. But with long distance charging comes, well, needs for apps. And while the needs for this are a little simpler than most other EVs, in this video we want to show you how to charge any EV, even a Tesla, with all of the apps I'm going to show you. So here we are at an Electrify America stall. These are the most common chargers across the country. So I'm going to show you their app and many more in this video. Now, if you have an Apple iPhone, importantly, you will download all of your apps from the App Store. So that's going to be where you get all these from. You're going to need an Apple ID for that set up on your iPhone. If you have an Android phone, like a Google Pixel, Samsung Galaxy, you will use the Google Play Store. Those are the recommended vendors for getting all these apps. All these apps are available on both platforms. So what I've done here is made a folder. You can make a folder, you can organize your apps however you want on your home screen, but I call this EV apps. And here are the most important ones I like to use. I just mentioned Electrify America. I always recommend having their app because while their stations have card readers where you can theoretically tap or insert your credit card, I find those really rarely ever work. So often I will activate with the app. Now we have a video demonstrating all the minutiae of activating Electrify America, but I'll just save you some time and recommend by far the quickest way to activate, which is going to your account and setting up basically your Electrify America payment in Apple Wallet. So what I did is I went to payment, I went to my Electrify America account, which you'll have to make, and I did add to Apple Wallet. On Android phones, I believe this system is called Google Wallet, but basically this makes your phone like a virtual card, sort of like your card when you, if your physical credit card, if you've ever used that to tap to pay, it does that with your phone. So now all of a sudden your phone is a pass to these chargers and you can tap it to them. Super useful. So that covers a lot of your bases, I think, for interstate travel. Electrify America is super common. However, they're not the only charging network. There's also EVgo. EVgo is really useful as an app and account to have because when you install this, you're not only getting access to the EVgo fast chargers, you're getting access to what's called level 2 charging from their partners ChargePoint and SEMA. So ChargePoint and SEMA have their own apps, which we'll get into, but you don't even need them because if you have EVgo, then you can pay at all of them on your own. And they even have this super cool thing called auto charge where you can plug in and your car will automatically pay. If you want to know how to set that up and much more about EVgo, please watch our dedicated video on that. I mentioned EVgo has a partnership with ChargePoint, but if for whatever reason you don't want to use EVgo or you like to have redundancy, fair enough. You can't go wrong with having the ChargePoint app. So one more thing, I like EVgo because when you sign up for an account, they'll send you a physical card that you can tap. ChargePoint won't do this, but ChargePoint does give me the offer, if their service opens, to basically have a virtual card in my wallet, and this is something I really appreciate. So I'm gonna just for a second hide my phone from you while I'm going through all my credit cards, but you can see in my virtual wallet I have ChargePoint as a card. Super handy. I've set that up through their app, and I have my Electrify America pass and wallet. Now, the reason I recommend really doing these wallet RFID passes is because while all of these apps let you activate by finding the charger ID in them and swiping the charge, I found that if you're in an area with low cell service, you can really be SOL. So having the RFID pass on your phone means that it's always going to work even offline. So next up, I'm really going to recommend Shell Recharge. So Shell, you may have heard of them, big company, they're diversifying from gas into basically they bought this company Greenlots, and so now they own and operate a lot of electric car chargers, mainly fast chargers. And if you sign up for an account with them, you can use those. And in certain regions, like where I was on the island of Oahu in Hawaii, Shell recharge stations are ubiquitous, and having this app to activate with them is going to be super helpful. Then I would recommend having the Tesla app, even if you're not a Tesla driver. Now, if you are a Tesla driver, you already probably have the Tesla app because it's like your phone key. But if you're not a Tesla driver, you use the Tesla app to actually pay for superchargers that work with non-Tesla vehicles. In the US, this is still very work in progress. Very few stations, I think in New York and like one in California, support this as of when we filmed this video. But hopefully in the coming months, many more will be rolled out, and you'll need the Tesla app and a Tesla account to be able to pay for those charges on non-Tesla vehicles as well. So I will always recommend having a Tesla app handy. Another really important app is PlugShare, and this is, I think, it used to be a very beloved app in EV community. It's becoming to have more of a mixed reputation because we're finding that a lot of stations that in PlugShare are supposed to be good are just rated too high because maybe one charger there works, but a lot of other chargers are down. So PlugShare, again, is this crowdsourcing app where people review chargers. So if I find a charger that's popular and has lots of check-ins, we can see recent comments. I always recommend scrolling down and looking at people's check-ins. So for instance, we can see at this charger at the Boulder County Clerk's office on the 11th, just a week ago, Kyle in a Tesla Model Y was able to charge successfully. Not Kyle Connor, another Kyle, but looks like he got a good charge, so that's good. Sometimes people will write a comment as well, so that is super helpful. And just good kind of legend thing to know about PlugShare. The green ones are what are basically functioning level 2 chargers, so the kind of chargers you can just plug into overnight or while you're shopping and just get a slower charge on. Orange chargers are going to be these DC fast chargers. You can see gray stalled out ones are stations that for whatever reason are reported as being under service or inoperational. Now, this is not a guarantee. We found that some of these ones that are supposedly online and PlugShare, well, they're not, because PlugShare is not real time as a feed. So just be aware this app is imperfect. However, as far as EV resources go, it's one of the best ones we currently have. Then I would recommend having your vehicle manufacturer's app as well. So if that's a Tesla, well, you're covered with the Tesla app. But if you're like me and you have another car, well, I have a Polestar, so I use the Polestar app. But maybe you have a different app, which is fine. Then just install that. I believe Hyundai has their own, Kia has their own, Chevy, etc. They all have their own apps. Also, you'll find Volta chargers in occasional places. Volta is basically an interesting provider of operator of charge points because Volta has targeted retail and a lot of like stores and restaurants. The idea being that you use their chargers while you're getting something else done. So Volta, I don't have an account with them yet actually, but I'm considering it. They're not as popular in our area, but in many metropolitan cities in the US, I know Volta is a big deal. So do consider having the Volta app on your phone as well. There's some smaller ones, like I haven't used EV Connect, but EV Connect is basically a way of finding charge stations near you. It's more of an aggregator really for just finding convenient charging and in some cases activating, but I haven't used this one and don't have as much experience. Regionally, this might be super important, but that's more of, again, of a honorable mention than the essential ones like EVgo, Electrify America, and ChargePoint or Shell. PlugShare being that utility just to find which chargers are working. Then I would also say SEMA Connect is redundant because you can do that in EVgo. Those are for the SEMA chargers, which are in some places. And there's Blink. I don't like the Blink app. I don't think I've ever come across a Blink charger in my life, but I'm on the Front Range in Colorado, so maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe in your region these are important. These are also charging apps to consider. Now, there are a few other small charge point operators in the country, like Circle K is starting to roll out its own chargers and has its own charging app. That's awesome. But Currently, that's very limited. So if there are smaller ones you know of that you need, you can download those on your phone too. And I'm always going to recommend this. If they have any option, whether it's a physical card they send you in the mail or a virtual RFID pass on your phone, get that card, get that virtual pass, get that downloaded and saved on your phone for offline access that's more reliable in many cases than than using the app by itself, which depends on an internet connection often. So I will always recommend that as a good backup. But if you've got all these apps on your phone, I think you're going to be pretty good to go for your EV road trips, regardless of which EV model you have. And I wish you luck on those. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know what other kind of videos and out-of-spec guide you would like to see. And thanks so much for watching.